Nah, haven't had a chance to look at the wicket this morning, so all options are on the table currently. He obviously hasn't had a great deal of sunlight, so yeah, need to check it out, see what it looks like. It still looked pretty green yesterday, so yeah, we need another look at it.
Are you thinking, like compared to some of the other pitches you've seen this summer, that this one is more of a chance of being suitable for a spinner?
Quite possibly, but yeah, still unsure. It still looked pretty green yesterday, but yeah, it's definitely on the table.
I've seen Andrew McDonald said the other day that the Ashes were all in a way when went 3-0 up in Adelaide. So is that how you view it as well? And it's more about World Test Championship points and I think obviously winning 4-1.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, Ashes were done at 3-0, weren't they? So, Test cricket now with the Test Championship, every game's important. So, for us, we view it as that. We want to win every game that we play. It was disappointing last week to go down. We were outplayed at the back end of that game. So, yeah, hopefully we can turn it around here, win this series 4-1, and now, more importantly, I suppose, just win a test in the Test Championship cycle.
And just on Uzi Steve, there are some baby pictures of him and David Warner. What are your first memories of him and just about the career that he's had and played alongside him pretty much throughout?
Yeah, he's had a wonderful career. I think back to 15 years ago, I played in his first Test match here. Shame he's gone now that I'm the oldest one here. But he, came on the scene. We knew he was such a talent from a young age. I remember playing against him in a couple of under-17 versus under-19 games for New South Wales and watching him bat. The way he pulled the ball, I was like, this guy picks length up quicker than anyone I've seen. He was pulling balls off top of the stumps, and I feel like throughout his career he's been batting his best when he's been doing that as well. And just his progression over a long period of time has been outstanding. I think he hates it, but we dropped him. I was captain at that stage, and we dropped him in the subcontinent. We didn't think he was playing the spinners as well as he does now. But when he hates us for it, but he got that opportunity to go back and figure ways to play. Whether he would have done that had he kept playing, I'm not sure. But he went back and found some different methods to defend spin. He was reversing, sweeping, and that's a mode of defence in a way when you put the field out. So he's arguably one of our best players of spin now. So maybe a blessing in disguise. But look, the way he's been able to play over his 15-year career, 88 Test matches, it's credit to him, and not too many people get to go out on their own terms. So yeah, he should be pretty pleased.
Over to the right, Scotty.
So I know you say you haven't decided what team yet, but is it just a decision which one whether you go four quicks and play spinner, or are there other decisions?
Yeah, other decisions as well. Just how we want to match up against this opposition for this surface. Could play a couple of all-rounders, could play a spinner, could play no spinner. We'll figure it out once we see the surface and see which way we want to go about it.
And just a broader question, I know there's lots of the pitch after the MCG test, and now you've had a few days to reflect on it. Do you feel around the country, are the pitches going too far in favour of bowlers compared to, in terms of the balance between bat and ball and Test cricket, or is it still, the Australian fans spoke more about leaving green on the wicket, is it still sort of where you'd want it to be generally?
I mean, it's a difficult question. I think you look back, 4 or 5 years ago, I think I've been saying this for quite some time, that particularly top order batting is as tricky as I've seen in the last, probably 4 years. And I think they changed the pitches at the same time they changed the cricket ball to that harder, extra lacquer, bigger seam. I still say if we kept the old ball, changed the pitches, or got the new ball and kept the pitches almost, that, I think that'd even things out in a balanced term between bat and ball. But the two variables at the same time have obviously made it tricky. You've seen bowling averages come down, batting averages come down purely because of the wicket and ball combined, I would say. But as players, all we can do is play what's in front of us and do it to the best of our ability. And last week on that surface, we weren't able to stand up and score as many runs as we would have liked. I think I said after last game, it was probably 60 runs over the course of the 2 innings, and the result could have been different. But they are tricky to bat on, and you do need some luck for sure.
Steve, when Usman Khawaja was sitting in that chair yesterday, he said he felt like he'd been treated differently, not necessarily internally, but certainly externally perhaps, because of racial stereotyping. He even said that, and then maybe other players, white players, got more sympathy when they were injured than he has been. As someone who's been captain of him for a long time in his career, what's your reaction to what he said yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going into the mind of Usman Khawaja. I think he's had a great career. In terms of preparation, I think he's always prepared the same way. He's worked hard, and I think some of the stuff around him getting injured when he played golf the day before the game, that was unfair. I think he's done that for 15 years and had a pretty good career. So, on an odd occasion where he prepared the same way, he got injured, it's pretty unfair to single that out, I suppose. But yeah, to the rest of it, I can't really say too much on that. That's Usman's views.
I appreciate you playing a test match tomorrow, and you might not be thinking too long term at the moment. But last week when we spoke to Andrew McDonald, he said that he starts making preparation for big series about a year out. The next time Australia play will be quite a big chunk of Test cricket in the run up to a World Test Championship final and an Ashes. You haven't committed yet to touring England in 2027. When do you start thinking about that?
In terms of myself?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing at the end of this week, but I've said it for a while. I'm taking it day by day, series by series, and we'll see where things land. I feel like I'm doing all right at the moment. I'm enjoying it. I'm contributing, and having fun. So there's no real end date for me, I suppose.
Nash.
Steve, Cam has moved around the order of this series. He's obviously not got the runs he would like. Where do you see him at the moment, particularly as a test match batter?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one. We've played on some hard surfaces for batting. We've seen two-day games, which it's not easy. But he's got himself in on a few occasions and probably not got on with it. And that's probably the disappointing part about it is you're starting your innings is actually your hardest thing. He's doing that pretty well, and then just finding a way to get out. And, that happens with everyone. I've been through the same thing on numerous occasions too. But what we know with Cam is he's a quality player. He, not too long ago, he contributed some really valuable runs in the series in the West Indies on some tricky surfaces. I think he was our leading run scorer there, batting at 3. So, yeah, he's batted in different spots, which also can't be easy as well when you're trying to sort of nail down one sort of role, I suppose. But, yeah, one thing about this team is we've sort of always been versatile, and guys have batted in different spots. Trav's gone from 5 to 1. Uzi's gone from 1 to 5. Marn's batted 3, wherever. He was going to open at some point. I've opened. I've gone to 4. We're kind of versatile in how we do things. And, Greeny hasn't got the runs he's wanted so far, but I think he's actually looked quite good at times too. So we know he's a bright player. Every time he goes back to Shield cricket, he smashes it. And, regardless of what happens right now, we think he's got a really bright future.
Do a couple more on the right and we'll come back over here. Jasper.
Steve, I guess all that considered, would you say Cam's locked in, definitely to play this test match?
No one's locked in yet. We got, as I said before, we haven't picked a team. There's 13 or 14 guys on the table, and we want to see the wicket and see how we match up against that.
Louis.
Yeah, Steve, just as having filled in as captain for Pat successfully over the last however long, have you kind of thought about whether you would continue doing that after this series? Like, would you, given the turnover in this team over the next couple of years, would it be something that you'd consider handing over to someone else when Pat does miss?
I actually haven't really thought about that, to be honest. No, I've enjoyed this series and, enjoyed taking over when Pat hasn't been here. But, I like helping him as well when he is there. I think, from the start, We've worked pretty well together. We've all got different sort of strengths as leaders, and I think the way that I can sort of help him out in the field and the way I view the game is beneficial. So, we'll think about that, and if the people higher above me want to make changes and put someone younger in or whatever, then go for it. I'm not that fussed, to be honest. I'm chilled, doing my job, and happy helping in any way.
Mel.
Steve, just in reference to that big gap that's going to come up after this test, and then the huge crush of game test matches that will follow, is there a sense that if you sort of go into that first series or that first couple of series, that you're kind of going in for the long haul, like that there's going to have to be a group of players that Australia's going to have to try and get through to have a bit of consistency to hopefully for them to get to that World Test Championship final and beyond?
There's a bit of a break after this before the Bangladesh series. A few Shield games where guys can obviously put their names up there as well. So, I think ultimately you probably want a group of players that you can get to and have playing in that cycle to get to the World Test Championship final. I guess that's a question for coach selectors as well.
Is that something that you'll perhaps have to think about yourself when you talk about going series by series? When it comes to the next one, it's the first of a pretty long run.
Yeah, maybe. I've still got a while before that as well. So, it's things I'm thinking about all the time. I think with obviously Usman dropping off now, it's one of our experienced players. So, probably wouldn't be ideal if him and I went out this week, for instance. So, no, I want to keep playing and don't read into that too much. I'm still playing. I'm enjoying it. So, we'll wait and see. I don't really know how to answer that question much more than that.
We'll take a few more on the left and we'll finish up then.
Steve, I know you've said before you can't, obviously be in Usman's mind and experience what he's experienced, but, did you sense when he did first come into teams, New South Wales and Australia, as the first sort of Muslim subcontinental cricketer to do that in Australia, that was a difficult environment for him to enter into, or in hindsight, can you see, that it has been difficult for him at times with, the way that he feels that he's been treated?
It's just hard for me to judge. I was pretty young at that stage as well. I'm probably just trying to make my way as well, coming into a team, which is hard for any young player. So it's really hard for me to make comment on it, to be honest with you.
Sam?
Sorry, just been chatting about futures and the like. Can I just clarify, is there any chance this is your last test match for Australia?
Nah.
So, secondly, it feels like the first summer actually in a few years where we haven't been asking you this question across, the course of the series. Is there more enjoyment in cricket now for you in terms of the balance with it all between cricket and life? Is there anything that's changed that feels like, you had that drive to continue?
No, I'm just enjoying it. It's fun. I think we've got a really good team. I think, the team we've had over the last 3 or 4 years, obviously making 2 World Test Championship finals, different people have stood up at different times. It's never been 1 or 2 people just getting the job done. It's been shared across, and guys have done great jobs throughout, and I think that's what's made us a really good team. So it's been good to be a part of, and as an older player now, hopefully I can help some of the players coming through and help teach them the game of Test cricket. I guess that's my role now.
Steve, you played a lot of Ashes series both in Australia and England. They've generally been more competitive in England than in Australia. Why do you think that is? And obviously the team that has been really competitive in Australia has been India in recent years. What do they do that, say, England or other teams haven't been able to do?
Good question. I think India have always been such a terrific team. You know, they've had good seam bowlers. We obviously saw last year Bumrah was on a different level, complemented by some other seam bowlers that just hit really good areas on the wickets that we're playing on right now. That's what you need. And then in terms of batters, I think the Indian team have just got batters coming from everywhere. There's probably a whole list of guys that weren't here last year that could have played a role and done just as good as some of the players that were playing. So, you know, you see that in their white ball formats as well. You could almost play an Indian B or C team and they'd compete against anyone in the world. So there's that answer. But then in terms of being more competitive when we're over in England, good question. I'm not sure. You know, a lot of our players have had the opportunity to play some county cricket potentially, play on some of their wickets, get used to them, and then, you know, I think over the last couple of years we've had players that have played other series in England before, so we've been exposed to those conditions, and it's entirely different. So that might have something to do with it potentially.
Crash, last one.
Steve, you always seem to play a spinner in Sydney, and yet Nathan Lyon's averaged about 40 runs per wicket here over a long period of time. Is there a chance for a bit sort of compromised by history and the days when it was a spinning deck? Like those stats don't add up to the narrative, do they?
Yeah, you're right. And that's why it's still getting talked about, which is a shame. I think for years I've always said when we come back here, I'd love the old school SCG, flat for 2 days, footmarks starting to come in, cracks opening, reverse swing, spin, late in the game, tricky to bat, slow, low wicket, fielders in front of the wicket. That's the ideal when you come here, when you think about the SCG in the past, but I don't think it's been that for as long as I've been playing, unfortunately. And as you said, the spin numbers, I think it's one of Nathan Lyon's probably worst grounds in Australia. So, yeah, that's why all things are being talked about.